cigarette smoking in my room. Yeah, I still want Marley. Bless FM radio, play good tune.
Turamagan tere manden kele mansali indongli ye turamagan silulema bunyani jigiya menyal kan alial jantola beni faciale ali sona jabate jere turamagan sile dobrete facia kole
Saya malo ya ye dunia kono na mo kele site duya laban wala ye muso nyale tente tiniala kele mandi dankadena wani kele make kebali tumuna maza foro no mobile sumayara jama joni bene fasia koitiara tumuna maza foro no mobile sumayara jama joni bene fasia koitiara
Yantre manden kele mansali. Indongli ye turamagan silulema. Bonyani jigiya menyalkan. Alial jantola. Beni faciale. Ali sona jabatejre turamagan sile. Dogbrete facia kole.
Ujjayi, and welcome to the Wisdom of the Nile show, representing the Herb Center, a multifaceted not-for-profit corporation promoting and preserving Kem's culture. I am Nehipsa, Nesibik, your host for tonight's show. Um, Alongside me is my host, initiate, Sanun.
Ujahi, everybody. I'm Sanun Nasevic,
What's your name, mate?
and I'm the co-host for tonight. Welcome. So today we're going to be talking about a wide range of things, and we're going to start with an introduction to the EC with my brother Nakibsa.
Now, the Earth Center was founded by Prophet Neb Naba Namusa Morenebig. He was a high priest, he was a Dogon high priest from a village in Burkina Faso belonging to the lineage of healers, tracing their history to the Nile Valley civilization. In 1995, Prophet Neb Naba embarked on an unprecedented journey across the globe after receiving the blessing and support of the Gulmi royalty, the dignitaries and the traditional temples, and the grand divinities of Kemet. Neb Naba's mission was to bring the knowledge of the existing Kemet temples to the general public for their benefit for all humanity. Neb Naba opened the first Earth Center school in 1995 in Chicago, Illinois, where he began to take people through the initiate process. The Earth Center began to grow as the demand for the authentic spiritual knowledge increased. There are currently 9 Earth Centers schools, 6 in the USA, 2 in the UK, and 1 in Canada. The Earth Center consists of 4 branches. The first is the M-Time School of Kemetic Philosophy and Spirituality, where in this section we do 3 subjects: the Medu, Mahit, the Medu Mahit language, humanity's original language. Katibi, which is where we do meditation yoga, and Sunt is traditional healing. The Firefly Production, the publishing house of the Earth Center, disseminating traditional Kemet knowledge. 3 is Ancastor natural healing provided by priests and healers who are devoted to preserving traditional medicinal spiritual knowledge. 4 is the project in Merita, ensuring that solutions of Africa problems could be found and applied to ourselves, installing clean water wells, farming projects using traditional farming techniques. You can contact the Herb Center, which you can contact them on email mtamuk@theearthcenter.com, on Facebook, the Earth Center UK, Twitter, Kepta UK, Instagram is at the Earth Center of UK, and the website is theearthcenter.org. Over to you, Sanam. Yeah, the Earth Center is spelled CENTER at Kepta. That's CENTER at Kepta. We have the Proverbs of the week, which is: the sun never sets, it's the man who moves away from the light. Yeah.
Sen. So yeah, the Earth Centre, we're here, we're available. So get involved, find out what we're doing, and we'll be back after this.
In my place, we say, people, they move, right? People move. People, we move. Paths go everywhere, right? But one thing about paths, they don't move. You see? Which means if you get on a path, it only takes you where it goes. That is regardless of how smart you are. Whatever is your intention, it doesn't matter if you get on that path. Where it goes, that's where it will take you to. You see? When a culture and ideology that you meet started by destroying humanity, when you join it, where do you think it will take you to? You just feed it your blood. You become part of the evil of this world. You see? So why don't we focus and understand that what is not working is just not working. It's just not working.
That was the Makaru, Nebnaba Limusa Moradenebig, and it was the choosing the right path. So now we're going to move to the next section, which is about wisdom of our ancestors. Our brother Hekipta, he's going to do that.
Ajay Menkroi, welcome to the segment called The Wisdom of the Ancestors. My name is Hekipta Hatneb Mao. I'm an initiate of the Earth Centre, recently graduated. My initiatic name, Hatneb Mao, that translates to one who has good perception. And Hekipta translates to the power or ability of the heart of enlightenment. And I'll break that down for you. Hek means power or ability. Ib means heart. And Patar doesn't directly translate to enlightenment, but it really conveys the concept. And where this comes from is there's a term called Hep-Patar Ka, which the Greeks called Aegyptos, and which translates into English as Egypt. But the concept doesn't really mean a geographical location. It's really been corrupted because it really defines the principles of which our ancestors lived by, and it's more kind of closely related to the concept of Hej-Patar, which means the rise of civilization. And what it was, our ancestors many moons ago vowed to work towards enlightenment based on our interaction with the divine realm. So I'll have to kind of go into cosmogony a little bit, and cosmogony is the origins of things and how a people or a culture believe things became, and the beginning of things, and the cultural norms and customs that they govern their life with based on that creation. And in the Kemetic creation story, we have a concept called the Nun, where all things became from. And our trinity, well, there's many trinities, but the principal trinity is of Ra, Imen and Patar. And Ra created two elements, which were Nu and Geb, which we would understand as Nu meaning fire and Geb meaning the earth. And the next Netta was called Imen, and he manifested the two elements Shu and Tefnut, which we would understand as Shu air and Tefnut water. And Ptah was the netter who, once he self-created, he found these elements and put them together, and he created what we understand to be existence. So from this position of Ptah being the creator deity, this is where he was identified with enlightenment, and that was where we get the concept of Het Ptah Ka from. So in this cosmogony, Ptah also created two divine couples, which were Wusser, which the Greeks called Osiris, and his counterpart, which was Ishat, which the Greeks called Isis. And also he created Seth, which we know today as the concept of Satan, and his counterpart Nepsis. And from these two couples, the divine force known as Ptah granted them immortality. And he asked both of them how did they want to live out this immortality. And Seth chose a linear principle, which is what we would understand as, immortality, not that we do understand it, but the concept of where he doesn't die, he doesn't degenerate, but that linear principle also came with the consequence of it couldn't reproduce because it can't change. That is how it manifested its existence. And Wusser chose the cyclical principle, and this means that his immortality was derived from reincarnating. And us as Chem people, this is the not the immortality. This is the principles which we follow. And from these two primordial principles is where we get the concept of Haru Seth. And this is the concept I'm going to hopefully do justice with tonight. And what Haru Seth represents is the kind of dialectical forces which govern existence. And it really speaks of how, in order for existence to be, these two forces interact and almost collide, if you like. And that collision creates chaos. And in that chaos, this is where life springs forth from. But we don't really have the same concept that other cultures have derived when it comes to perceiving good and bad. Because from a Kemetic perspective, everything is really about your becoming. And all experiences that you have either to assist and guide you or to test you, to push you forward in that becoming. And because of our vow that our ancestors made to work towards enlightenment by following what we call the 77 commandments, our perception of what we would perceive as good and bad isn't necessarily the same. So an analogy I like to use is like, say for argument's sake, and hopefully I'm not offending anyone, that, when, as a young woman, you met someone in school, they ended up to be, the love of your life, and, you thought you was going to spend the rest of your life with them, and, you'd tell all your best friend of all, the wonderful times you'd have, and then your best friend slept with your partner. You become heartbroken at that point. So time went on, you kind of split up and you went your separate ways, and then later on in life you come to meet that friend again, and you see that the friend's had a really bad time with that love of your life, which you thought you was going to spend the rest of your life with. So at that point you would perceive that, thank God that I didn't spend my life with this person, because the girl who was my best friend who slept with him, her life turned out quite bad. And the reason that I give this analogy is, in the concept of Haru Seth, it's very difficult to perceive what is actually good and what is bad, because it is an interaction of things which creates experiences which cause you to grow. So you don't necessarily perceive it as a bad thing per se. Obviously, in the moment when you're emotionally attached to it, it does seem quite bad. But in the fullness of time, when you look back in hindsight, you can see that these were the principles or the experiences that you went through which assisted you to grow. And again, this ties back into the vow that our ancestors made to work towards our enlightenment to the divine realm. And the concept of Haru Seth really governs all aspects of our life. You can look at it from a basic level of just good and bad, male and female, even with the elements, fire and water, the air and the earth. Everything works on dialectical opposites, but it's not really from a pilgrim's perspective on someone who's trying to evolve. It's not really looking at things in a good or bad way. It's really just trying to understand the principles which are governing your life in order that you can navigate through life a bit more in a balanced manner. And for me, this is what Haru Seth really represents. It's trying to understand that there are many forces at play in life, and there are many situations which you don't understand, but you need to try to cultivate humility within yourself and patience in order that you can see that things are always becoming, and you don't want to stop something's becoming because of your lack of understanding. And this is what initiation helps you to do, by giving you tools to understand the forces of nature which play in your life, which govern your life, but due to your lack of understanding you don't fully know. So the initiation gives you many tools and gives you things which our ancestors used to enable them to, create the civilizations which, we're all so very proud of. And this is kind of fundamentally what initiation is about. And the concept of Haru and Seth is really a cornerstone of that initiation. It's not a singular one, because what you'll understand with Kemetic culture, everything is interrelated and interdependent. So there are many similar cultures which feed into and off that concept. And this is the importance of initiation, because you need a very holistic and thorough understanding of how things come to be. And this is why our ancestors chose to live life very simply, because they understood that everything that is complex is based off very simple principles. And if you align yourself with those simple principles, your life will flow a lot better, and you'll be able to manifest what your destiny was meant to be. And for me, how I'm trying to incorporate this into my life is, again, trying to be more humble and understanding that everyone is going through their own journey and their own becoming. And also trying not to be too hard on myself, because there's forces which are playing through me which I don't quite understand as well. So initiation gives you an understanding of these principles and tools to enable you to kind of make that journey and try to fit into the existence without causing too much harm to yourself and others. And this is basically what the culture of Kemet was based on. And again, this is where we get the concept of Het Patar Ka, which later became Hej Patar, or the temple there. And this is the kind of the way that we choose to live our lives in order that we can live in balance with nature and try to manifest our destiny and reach to the divine realm. So my name is again Hekipta Hatneb Mau, and thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Duo Sen Hekipta there. So yeah, that's a lot of information for you. Hope it gets those brain cells buzzing. And welcome to the Wisdom of the Nile show. presented by the Earth Centre. The song that we first played was Fasia by Sona Jabati, and we're going to play another song now, which is Chamber Music by... who is it by? Belike Soso. Ujahi. Welcome back to the Wisdom of the Nile show. That was Chamber Music by Baleke Sissoko and Vincent Segal. I got that wrong before. So that's who it is. Baleke Sissoko and Vincent Segal, Chamber Music. So we're going to open the phone lines if you want to call in. The number is 079 444 31366. That number again, 079 444 31366. So my brother Nahibta is just going to read out the information again.
Ujai everyone. Remember, you can contact the Earth Center on 0207 175 4144. And email address is mtam, spelled MTAMUK at the Earth Center, CENTER.com. And you can reach us on Facebook, the Earth Center UK, and on Twitter, Kepta UK, and on Instagram at Earth Center of UK, and the website www.theearthcenter.org. The proverb again for the week is the sun never sets, it's the man who moves away from the light. And in this segment there, we will be giving you a brief account of like events and things happening in the Earth Center. And we're handing you over to Claudette, one of our initiates, who would read out the events coming up shortly this Saturday.
We have an event on Saturday, Saturday the 9th of February. We have Ancaster Sale of her products. It's free entry, and the times are from 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. And it will be at the Centre, 21 Sunnyside Road, Leighton, London E10 7PB. The nearest tube stations are Walthamstow Central and Leighton. From there you can get buses 58 and 158. There will be refreshments available, and also the telephone number is 020 7175 4144, and I'll just repeat that again. Telephone number is 020 7175 4144, and that's this Saturday at the Earth Centre. I'll hand you back over to my colleague.
Duo Cent. And yeah, please come along to the events. We actually sold out of some of the products at our last event, and they really do work. So please come along. So in a bit we'll be having another initiate on, but just in the meantime I'll talk about pilgrimage. Generally, every year we have a pilgrimage, and what it is that a group of initiates will go to Merita. Merita is the traditional name for Africa, and it's also open to the public to come for roughly about 2 weeks. And during that time, you get to do, maybe like learn bits of the culture, see things that, you wouldn't normally see on a touristic, on a holiday. So it's a really good opportunity for everybody to come along, and there'll be more news about that when it's available. So now we're gonna go to the phone line to speak to one of our initiates.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Ojai.
Jahi.
Ojai. This is Wahipta. Greetings to all the listeners and those who are in the studio. Ojai to you. Yes. Well, what's your question?
So, as I understand it, you've just had Divine Holy Day Zemzem.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah. Today, based on the sidereal calendar, um, like the alignment is favorable for us to uh, try to connect to divine world, to acknowledge um, the divine world. So, as human trying to access uh, a sacred space, sacred space, that space is pure, clean. So, what we do is like try to, we do ablution, meaning we cleanse ourselves physically and spiritually using water and certain word of power. We call it hekaus in Medu language. Um, so it's a process of purification because we're trying to access a sacred space. That's like communicate to the divine world. So yeah, it's a very old um, technique that the the Earth Center with the priesthood that preserve it for for a long time, and now we are teaching that to to anybody who want to try to access that world. Maybe your listener maybe wonder, okay, why do you want to do that? Um, for us, um, remembering our ancestral vow that they made long time ago, um, we we see the divine world as a model for us to copy, because for us human we are good at copying. uh, so in attempting to copy the perfect model, because the divine world became our perfect model and we want to copy that, to emulate that. um, so that technique, uh, um, our ancestors learned it long time ago, and we are just doing that and repeating that. Try to basically we're trying to evolve, we're trying to grow, raise our quality, uh, to be uh, to copy that perfect model. So today is one of those days. um, we do the purification, and after we did the purification, we come down, sit, burn some incense, say words in Medu language, because that language is a pure language, because we're trying to access a pure world. We also we purify ourselves, and then we speak in a pure language, the language Medu, and and try to communicate. And when we communicate, we send our prayers to our ancestors. Our ancestors, like they're intermediary, because they don't have the body no more. They're a bit cleaner than us, so they are between us and the divine world. So when we send our wishes, yes, like through our ancestors, that um, yeah, we reach the divine world. Try attempt to access the world, um, as best as possible, and at the same time in raising our quality. Uh, and on that day, we really have a good look at ourselves as a human, where we are, and
Okay.
reflect on things and try to do better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So, so when the public, they come and take part, do you think it was an easy process? Because as initiates, it's quite simple for us. We do it all the time. But how would it be
Yeah,
for
it's a
the public?
public. Thank you for that question. It's a public event, so anybody is welcome to come and sit and observe. And if they want to participate, they can participate. But can just sit and observe, because uh, doing the Zamzam process. I mean, you get to learn it in the initiation. But when you come, we can, assist you or just allow you to observe first, see. And next time you want to participate, you participate. And at the end of the session, is open for question and answer, discussion. So any question that we may have, we get to discuss it, answer those questions, look at a few concepts, and yeah, it's a good day
Mm-hmm.
for people to participate.
Yeah. So it's really important for us to do this, and not only on this day, on Divine Holy Day, but it also extends out to the rest of our week. So could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, when we say you want to reclaim your ancestral culture, uh, learn the language of our like the Medu, the Greek call it hieroglyph, sacred language. Yeah, learning culture, you don't just study it, you have to live it. You have to adopt it and live that life. So in learning our culture, in learning the language, we live it. We practice it, put in practice in our lives. So we have a Sidereal calendar that give us guidance, like when time and space is favorable to do certain spiritual activities. Uh, so each day, we do um, like Zemzem. That's like individually, and on the divine holidays, like for the group, for the community, like all the public are welcome. But on an individual level, we have days that you practice. Like early in the morning, you do your we call it Zemzem or meditation. Uh, trying to align yourself, align your energy, clean your energy before you start the day. And then to at the end of the day, you do another one to clean yourself, clean your energy, align yourself with the divine, and that's take you through the night. So those daily activity is to really raise our, what you call it, our vibration, uh, raise that our energy, so we can uh, perceive more. Because in the concept of expression, perception, when your vibration is higher than something you're trying to perceive, then you'll be able to perceive it. If your vibration is low, then whatever you're trying to perceive, if the vibration is higher, then you won't be able to perceive that. There's many things around us. There's many things we're not aware of, because our perception or our vibration is not able to penetrate that. is too, is too like high for our perception. So raising our quality, raising our vibration in that, we are able to be more sensitive, more aware of our environment, and that help us to adjust better to wherever we are. Um, I mean, practically in our daily life, I can give you the example. Practically in our daily life, we might get into maybe a situation where you are interacting with different people, maybe at work, maybe you get into a contentious situation. Um, in that scenario, you don't need to react because you be better aware of your environment. Your vibration is like at a higher level, and you're able even to think fast and see situation faster. So you don't need to react. You rather think and respond appropriately to deal with any situation calmly, thoughtfully, um, with better awareness of your environment where you are, so you adjust harmoniously with your surrounding. So doing the daily spiritual activity, yeah, it raises our vibration, it raises our awareness, and yeah, that also come with the knowledge that we learn in the initiation. Uh, it comes with some of the tools. I think I keep to mention that we learn in the initiation how to really understand our environment, not misrepresent ourselves, not misrepresent nature around us, but have a clear understanding and awareness of ourselves and things that around us. So yeah, it involves a number of things to go with that.
Ujjayi Atene.
Yes. Ujai.
Divine Holiday is a special day, yeah, for doing Zemzem. How often is it practiced? And just for the listeners to know, if they want to join in the communal Zemzem, how regular can they interact with the
Yeah,
EC?
I mean, in the Gregorian calendar, you get, the concept of holiday. Holiday, here people think that go and rest, go relax, but really come from holy day, a day that is holy. So that's a day that you acknowledge, yeah, the divine will. So on the Sadiro calendar, we have a week. A week for us is a decan. It's 10 days. Um, so in 10 days we have one a divine holiday, and so every 10 days there is a divine holiday that yeah, the community people are invited, the public are invited to come, observe, participate, come and ask question. We can discuss and go in details and dealing with different questions people have. Yeah, so that's every 10 days. So today is a divine holiday, then the next 10 days will be another divine holiday, then every 10 days. So those who want to like put in their calendar, like today plus another 10 days, that was another divine holiday. So every 10 days, that's what we do.
Ah, Dorian.
Indeed.
And so we can, if the listeners they want to purchase the calendar, they can come into the EC and do that, or they can purchase it online. And that website is www.theearthcenter, center with a .org. So yes,
Yes.
so do send for that. Is there anything else that you want to say
Yeah, just to mention a little bit more about the calendar. Um, I know Akipta mentioned the linear principle that set, chose, and the way we look, like the Gregorian calendar nowadays, look at time, time and space, or time division, or time measurement. Like Gregorian calendar look at time as linear, from a linear perspective. Like today we are 2019. Um, like it started from somewhere, maybe 01. Now we are 2019. But 2019 of what? Is like, humanity has been on this earth more than 2019. So, that was 2019 about. So understanding like time is a very important and crucial uh, thing for a human being who is trying to orientate himself on his own planet. So if you don't know, you can't orientate yourself, that means you're really lost in time and space. And for somebody trying to have a spiritual life who doesn't know, or who doesn't have a good grip uh, in understanding the concept of time and space or time division, is really lost. So for spirituality, we say spirituality is very technical. You need to know uh, the right time to do certain thing or do certain activity. We don't do things, guessing or at random. It's very precise, like certain thing we do at this time. So you need to know the concept of time. In any area of knowledge, time is very important to know. If you don't have that concept, whatever knowledge you have, it become really useless because it's maybe, like it's not at the right time. Maybe it's not at the right space. So you can't function like that. You be functioning outside, or not in alignment with the universe, because in the cosmos everything is order. We see the celestial bodies, we see the season, we see many activity move in time. In nature, yeah, time is involved, a very very important concept. So um, not many people put or question things about time, because time now become a very social thing where okay, time to wake up, time to go and eat, or time to go work, time to come back home. It's just for social management, but this is a spiritual tool. So to use to be able to uh, use it effectively, you need a very clear understanding of the concept of time and space. So you can buy the Sodiro calendar. It gives you some guidance. Come to the Zamzam, ask me, some more question about that. Then we can go deeper into it and discuss, time and space. Very important for our growth and for our evolution. Thank you.
So, and what is the dress code?
Sorry, what was that?
What is the dress code for the Divine Holy Day Zamzam?
Yeah, the dress code. Yeah, normally we wear white. Um, or you can wear, traditional, clothing. Um, but those who want to come to observe, yeah, try to wear, light color or white. Um, yeah, but for those who like, have a better understanding, yeah, we wear, white on that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So duawu for that. That was very insightful, and we wish
Ah,
everybody to come and join and get the
ah.
benefit, of communicating with the divine world. So duawu
Yeah.
sen.
Thank you. Okay.
So that's Wahibta Fakara, and he's the overseer of the Earth Centre in the UK. So duawu sen.
Thank you, and thanks to the listeners who's tuning in to the Wisdom of the Nile show. Thank you for your team doing the good work.
Wow.
Joe, here we go.
Here, here.
So now, we'll give out the number for you to call in. If you have any questions on what you've heard, then please do text or call. That number is 079 444 31366. Again, that is 079 444 31366. So before our next section, we'll be playing some music, and it's a Gambia by Sona Jabati. Don't just love her. Ujahi, everybody, and welcome back to the Wisdom of the Nile show. So that was Sona Jabati and Gambia. Absolutely love that song. I was arguing with the other initiates. I would say listen to the whole thing and listen to it again. But hey, you got to stop sometime. So the number to call in again. It is 079 444 31366. Number again, 079 444 31366. Please call or text. We would love to hear what you have to say, any questions, try to answer them. So the next section is the initiate space. And today we have One Love, and he's going to tell all.
Ujai to one and all. I just want to say I'm known right now as One Love. That's my given name as I wait to get my initiatic name given to me by the elders and from them reading the energies of the earth. And so I must admit I'm in envy of those initiates that have graduated and been given their name that has got meaning and which ties them to this most powerful planet, the living planet Earth. And I'm here today to share with you my experiences and to let you know what this journey's been for me on the road of initiation and to share my thoughts on what I've learned from the initiation. So if anybody out there's got any questions that they'd like to pose, you've heard the number. And so let me just share with you the journey that I've been on so far. Having been part of the EC, I've come to realise that it is one big family and that all the initiates come together under the umbrella of being a chem. That's something that will perhaps be explained later, but what it does mean is that you are introduced to a family and you get to share the experiences of what it's like to be a part of a unique collective that has come about through thousands of years. The amazing thing about this journey that I've been on is the fact that I read about the Dogons. I read books about the Dogons at a time when I was trying to find out about spirituality. And my journey led me to look at several religions, in particular Christianity. The fact that my father is a pastor or was a pastor is meant that I had some insight into it already. But in me trying to find the truth, I got the information that said that the Bible was written by men inspired by God. And I chose not to believe that, as we're in a system where there's a lot of misinformation and in a system that's set up to take us down a certain path, a certain road. So being a truth seeker, I came across a chap called Santos Bonacci on YouTube who explained that the biblical story came from the universe. And that for me struck a very powerful chord. And I thought, if this person can gain that knowledge, then there must be other human beings that have got the knowledge of the universe and through that the biblical story. And so I went looking, and that took me to the one tribe on this planet that have been seen for having a wisdom that was beyond their means, in being able to identify things that were in the universe that could not possibly be known. So having done my little bit of research and found out that this tribe was the Dogon tribe, I was in awe. Anyway, several months after doing all of this research, I happened to go to an event. And it was while I was waiting at that event that I saw somebody who looked interesting. And I went over to the lady and I just started to make small talk. And in a matter of minutes, I had to ask her where she got her spirituality from. And she then boldly stated that it was from the Dogons. And I, thinking that I'm in my element, having just done all of my due diligence, I thought I'd just share with her the knowledge that I got about these people that came from Kemet and the knowledge that they had in the Sirius star. And then I happened to ask her, how did you get your knowledge from? Thinking that I'd outdone her by far. And she just simply said, they teach me. And I said, what? She said, yes, they teach me. The Dogons have decided that they're going to share their knowledge, the mystery knowledge that they've got. And I'm attending a temple where they've decided that they're going to spread this knowledge across the world. And tomorrow, come Sunday, I'll be in Tottenham at the Mahat Centre where I'm part of going through initiation. And I said, you're telling me that the Dogons actually exist and that they're in Tottenham? And she said, yes. And if you could imagine, me thinking that what I'd read, written by the colonialists, was the only information that was out there, and to know that these people actually existed, that they were alive, and that they were teaching this knowledge that they've got. I think the class started at 10 o'clock the following Sunday. I was there at 9 o'clock. And I sat down in the class and looked at the master, Master Naba Irita Shamira, who is the EC representative from the Goma tribe. And I was there in awe, and I said, yeah, this is something that I must find out more about. And being a truth seeker, I found out I was in the right place. Now, jumping forward, I wasn't allowed to start because this initiation takes place at a set time during the year. And so you can't just jump in there when you want to. So I had to be patient and wait until I got the opportunity to start. And when that chance came, I started the class. And let me tell you, as somebody who is well-traveled, with a good deal of experience, I don't treat my life and what I've done as being a humble life. But from day one, I was exposed to things which I have never, ever seen, heard, read, or been told by anybody else in the whole of my existence. And that in itself made me sit up and wonder how true or the depth of knowledge that was coming to me. And I wanted to know more. So, if you can imagine, it was a few months later when I got a chance to travel to Merita, aka Africa, and to be in a place that's regarded as being a spiritual sanctuary. And my reasons for going there at the time was based on a reading, which is another amazing aspect of what I've been exposed to. In this reading, you get to talk to somebody who is in such close contact with nature, with the earth, that they can actually read the energies of the earth. And you get to realize that there are channels called Bawali and Yenu through which the energy travels. And it's having a knowledge of this energy that allows you to read the history of humanity going back to the earliest beginnings of all time, and to know the future. And so in this reading, the chap actually told me that I had suffered an injury. And I thought to myself, I don't know what you're on about. And he said, yes, your knee. And when he said that, I instantly remembered that it would have been about a month earlier that I'd been walking and my knee gave way, and it was 3 days before I could make it to the doctor. But having got to the doctor, I was told that an injury that I suffered during my martial arts day had now reached its termination time. And that operation that I had back in the day was meant to last 5 years. It was now 30 years later. And so my time was up. And I was told that I'd be lame. And lame for the rest of my life. And the only thing I could do was to have physio. So when this person at the end of this, giving this reading, told me that they could fix my ailment, and that I had a choice. I could either pay money then or I could travel to this spiritual sanctuary. I thought, you know what? if my quest is for knowledge and for the truth, this is going to be a defining point, because I can now find out whether modern medicine and what they had to say would be superseded by what it was that what seemed like very, how could I say, ancient and redundant um, people could enlighten me with. And so, as you can imagine, I was in I was of a mind where I thought, no, it's not going to be possible. But I decided that it was a very busy time of my life, and I didn't have either the inclination, the money, or the time to go there. But I said to myself in that conversation that if I could go, I would. And believe it or not, 2 days later, the opportunity for me to get the money and the time came. And so I was able to talk to Master Naba. And he encouraged me to make the trip, and make the trip I did. And so, within a matter of weeks, I was on the plane, and I made it, got there, along with company. And it was the following day when the sun rose that I was standing in a place where nature was there in abundance. And it was a few moments later when I was sitting down amongst others, and these people, being supremely spiritual, were able to connect me with, of all things, my ancestors. So I have to say it came with the wow factor. And that experience made me come away and look up at the sky, and to know that I'd been in contact with my ancestors, and a conversation had taken place. And while I was there, it dawned on me that the reason why I travelled was everything to do with my knee. And so I went and spoke to the the person responsible for connecting me with my ancestors, and mentioned that I'd forgotten about my knee. And in that moment, I realised that I was being a bit hasty in thinking to myself, you know what, I wanted the instant relief, and thought to myself that, yeah, having travelled all that distance, I could expect this knee and this lameness that I'd suffered with this knee injury to be cured immediately. And so when I was brushed away, almost with some kind of insignificance, I walked away thinking, nah, you know what, this is not for me. This is not for me. And I was asking too much. And I went to sleep. Woke up some 3 hours later. And where I'd normally have to hold my leg and lift it out so I can stand, I just naturally pushed up off my feet and stood up. And I knew that to be something that I couldn't possibly do under normal circumstances. And so I had to remove this elasticated bandage that I'd bought from Boots, actually, on the way there. I had to remove that, and I bent my knee back and forth, and I could do it. Now that's meant to be impossible. So in that moment, I had to call some people that knew me, that had travelled with me, to witness the fact that I could now, at this knee, had movement. And if anybody's ever seen the film with Forrest Gump, whereas a young boy is wearing braces and he starts to run through this park because he's being chased, and the braces break off and he's able to run, I performed that exact same feat by walking out of this camp and then running back. And in front of witnesses, I jumped into the air and landed on my feet just to show them that that I could do it. And the truth is that that lameness was gone, and it's never returned. And we're talking years later now. So I'm testament to the fact that I've gone from being a non-believer and a person who always seeks the truth to being a living example that this thing is real. And I'm only talking about one aspect of it. There are many, many, many aspects of this. And if I'm going to leave you the one thing that applies to everybody that I've come across is that whereas in your life you're going to be exposed to many things outside of you from the moment that you wake up. What the knowledge of this thing does, it makes you look inward into yourself in such a way that there can be no greater friend or enemy that you've got that you can see other than yourself, and you come face to face with the reality of the corruption that exists within you, and it's that corruption that you've got to deal with, along with the goodness that you've got. And then it becomes an internal battle between you and yourself in order to become who it is that you're becoming, decide you're going to be. But in that journey, you get to realize that by going back or into yourself, you also go back into what has brought you here, meaning your ancestors. And if you go back even further, it takes you to a world where there are deities and divinities in all hierarchies. And if you go even further back, it takes you to what is called the Netta, stands for nature, i.e. the gods. And you get to realize that the world that we live in is so far from reality that as a truth seeker, you realize that you found the truth in what it is that this can give you. So, if there's anybody out there that's got any questions, any callers, anybody that's got any questions that they'd like to ask, I'm here and I'm available to answer any questions. But to continue, what I'd like to say, if you need a reminder of the number again, it's 079 444 31366. Now, just coming back to the point, I mentioned at the beginning that this was about what I've learned from going through this experience. I have to say that the level that I'm at now is no greater a level than what I in the bush would know at the age of 7. And so I'm really at the stage where I'm just learning the ABC of the alphabet, whereas there are people who are masters of this knowledge, such that when I qualify, it would have meant that I've gone through this initial stage called per Ankh. And it's after this that the real knowledge comes forth. And so I'm adamant that this is something that I need to learn, not just for me, but so that I can teach my children. In coming into this world, I got to realize at an early age that having been born into the West, it wasn't a world that was designed or built or made for me to feel comfortable in. It's not a place that I could call home. But nevertheless, having been reared in this environment, I looked at myself and I looked at the people around me, and so during my teenage life, I felt like I was unique. Being one of the generation of children that have been born into this colonial West, but from parents that come from the Caribbean, with parents that come from Africa, I felt like we had the best of both worlds, and so we were going to rise to the top in every way, because not only do we know and have a history of our culture from the past, but we also have a knowledge of the colonialists and the way that they think, the way that they talk, and the things that they do, and the things that they've done. So I was expecting epic things to happen, but in reality, my wish didn't happen, in so much as I've not seen the change that I envisaged taking place. But it's only now, having come across a culture that has existed for thousands of years, that I thought had died, that was non-existent, and to find out that that culture and that knowledge is still remained intact, and that the people who have been the gatekeepers of that knowledge have taken it upon themselves to share it with the rest of the world, it makes me realize that I'm living in a unique time to be able to share in this experience. And so I encourage all and everybody out there who are looking for the truth, who know that there is something more than what they've been exposed to, those people that are enjoying whatever religion it is that you've decided to take on board. This is not a what should I call it? This is not an entity which has come to destroy or to take away from anybody's religion. It's not a religion in itself, but what it does, it exposes you to the truth of all things, including the truth of religion. And so if there's questions that you've asked yourself that you know deep down you've never been given the answer to, this is the place to come and get those answers. Because the history of what we're talking about goes back to the source of humanity. And what my fellow initiate had to say to you at the beginning of the show was the story, the cosmogony, which is the story of humanity and how it is that we come into existence and the role that we play in the universe. It gets you to understand that the universe is a place where we as humanity have been given the chance to exist. But because of our actions, we also have put ourselves in a place where our own self-destruction has become apparent. And by those people who can read the energies of the earth, who can read the energies of the universe, will come the knowledge that saving humanity happens to be one of the most important things on their agenda. And so if your awareness does nothing but one thing, then take these words with you and find out more about the Earth Center and find out more about where it is that this knowledge can take you. Well, all I have to say is hirihiru, which is goodbye, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to say this, and I'm sure that my ancestors will be looking down me with a sense of pride for contributing what it is that they have got to say through me. Dwao.
Sam. I'm sure they are. So, that was the initiate space, where the initiates, they go through their story, what they've maybe experienced in their life, in initiation, and how it's affected them. So now we're gonna have a little bit of music, and then we'll come straight back.
Galwani fuladu wallo wani basaru wallo wani basaru mimi walkadi ko jambar wonnodo wado no bokan Ogo jambar e fuladu. Jambar e nder fuladu. Ya yimbe wado yi armi. Ko arti e nder fuladu. Amboni habade fami mudu. Amboni liggo. Ligge mudu ne aradi me. Amba jayno ngoldo on wiete no. O wonno sellu kuyada mbalo. Mbalo banna. Kanko jayno odo basar. Ni fawko e kiltir meɗen tawa ni fawko e sasal meɗen fuladu tawa Musa Malo e sellu kuyada ko ɗo ɓe mbanno kibaru hakkunde mumen sellu kuyada ko lamɗo Musa Molo ko lamɗo Musa Malo o yimmi o haɗoyi sallu kuyata o tawi ɓeni mbaɗa wari o diwra banta mumen ɗo wiyete dandu o wi salamu aleykum ɓeɗo mbiya mi wari ɓeɗo mbiya mi ñaami ɓeɗo mbiya mi hawi o wi salamu aleykum ha fimi daaji tati ala mon jaabi ala mon dankiɗum minitaji capan tati cellu kuyada juniti laari ɗum wiiɗum Moussa Molo bisimilla Moussa Molo bisimilla o wi sukaɓe makko nangeɗi pucci kabboye umen pucci ɗi nanga kabboya o wi Moussa Molo bisimilla Moussa Molo to nder diwre to ina wertana toon guda mo ƴendi e paɗe makko o ɓolaki paɗe ɗe o ƴendi e mumen to nder diwre to o yaabi diwre nde o yaabi ɗo wertanaɗo cellu kuyata wiyonumo noddani wambaɓe muɗum gara ɓen nodda o wiya wambaɓe ɓen a koɗan ɗum tawi o suyta haalde konngol o tugga Moussa Molo woni woodi hare nde arani o wi sukaɓe makko ngaaroye ndi ngaari ɓaleeri mbuña Moussa Molo ngaari nagge nangoya ɓaleeri not hirsa wiya koɗo o bisimilla ɗum waɗi firti Moussa Molo ko mayde woopima wonno Moussa ƴendi paɗe ɗe ɗo bertanteeri ɗo wombaɓe nodda cellu kuyada noddi wombaɓe wiyoɓe nakkoɗen
Ujahi everybody, welcome back to the Wisdom of the Nile show, and that was Basso by Sarah Biji. So now we're gonna move on to okay, there you are. So now Claudette is gonna give out the events again. Over to you, Sent.
Ujayi, we have some more EC news. Saturday, the 9th of February, Ancaster are doing a herb product sale. It's a free entry, and the times are from 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. It will be held at the Earth Centre School, which is 21 Sunnyside Road, Leighton, London, E10 7BB. The nearest tube stations are Walthamstow Central and Leighton, and the buses that run by are the 58 and the 158. Refreshments will be available. Our telephone number is 020 7175 4144. Our RSVP is www.meetup.com, Kemetic-mystery-school-UK. And for any updates on the following events, you can see us on Instagram at the Earth Centre of UK, Facebook, the Earth Centre UK, Twitter, Kepta, which is KEBT pt4 UK. So this Saturday, the 9th of February, we have a herb sale. Please, all is welcome, and duo.
Duo sent. So yes, do please come along. You know, the herbs, they're very good for for healing your ailments, especially Ninica, which we call the human being's best friend. So that is a blood cleanser, and I use it a lot, and so do a lot of other initiates. So give that a try if you want, and yeah, I hope you're enjoying tonight. So in our final section, which is the story time. So if your children haven't gone to bed, get them around the radio. And our sister Chimise, she's going to be reading a story. So take it away.
You dry listeners, I'm going to read in today from the Initiatic Tales of Hejpata by Master Naba. And this story is called The Traveller and His Goal and the Loss of Important Life Principles. It is the person in a hurry who will buy an adult dog. If you are patient enough, you will see a day the female dog will give birth to many puppies, and you will have to do it to choose the one you want to adopt. If there are human faults on which modern society capitalizes and uses to create a sort of sensation that the modern individual and his world are evolving, one of these faults are called impatience. We appear to need to maintain the feeling that time is a straight line, and that on that straight line there is a segment going from the moment of our birth to the moment of our death. Inside this segment, we must absorb the maximum of sensations and illusions of the world. This is what we call enjoying to the maximum. This principle of life turned towards enjoyment and the parasitism of the world that we do not create becomes, ironically, the principal cause of the loss of the importance of life principles. Our tendency to put makeup on our parasitism of the earth and nature pushes us towards the illusion that it is the world that needs us, and the same way we like to insist that it is the poor person we have dispossessed that needs us, forgetting that we have been the one that felt the need to enslave the other. Our story today takes us into an atmosphere of confusion, hypocrisy, and especially impatience. The reality of that forward movement that is promoted by the new society has a nest and an ally within us, and in our search for wonder and ecstasy. We fear we will die before the world ends. We want to be there the day the sun will not rise again. We want to see the day that the whole earth will explode into dust. The egocentrism that has been put in us by the modern world has transformed every individual to a megalomaniac who holds into the belief that the world exists only because we open our eyes to it. The difference between Matikoli and Nungo is difficult to measure. Nungu is the traditional name of the capital of Goromanchi Empire and is now known as Fada and Guruma. Matikoli is a small city in the east of Nungwa, almost in the middle between Nungwa and Niamey, the capital of the actual Republic of Niger. The city of Madikoli has built its reputation on the fact that you always reach Nungwa by night, and when you come from the city, whether you leave Matikoli by morning or evening, you will reach Nungwa by night. The travelers were saying, the myth of a city to which you always reach by night is egomatic. The enigma of Matikoli was published in the regions for years. Every time a traveler comes through Matikoli and asks when they will reach Nungwa, at night, respond the inhabitants. They don't know how many days it might take to reach Nungwa, but they are sure that of one thing: don't matter how many days you spend on the way, you will reach Nungwa at night, whether you're on foot or on horseback. It is said that one day the villagers saw a traveler with his horse. They were visible in a hurry to reach Nungwa. They stopped at a house and asked for drinking water. To the woman that brought the traditional white water made from water and millet flour, he asked, "Tell me, madam, do you know how many days it will take to reach Nungwa?" The woman observed the horse and the rider for a long time before she answered, 5 days if you're in a hurry." 5 days, repeated the surprised traveller. 5 days is more time than what it takes for those who go by feet. "I know," answered the woman, "but it will take 2 days. It will take 2 days and 1 night to reach Nungwa if you're not in a hurry and if you exercise patience." The traveller then exploded with a laugh, mocking the woman. "This woman must be out of her mind," he said to himself as he continued his ride on his galloping horse. Without waiting, he took to the path to Nungwa. After the day of travel, his horse fell and died. The traveller had to continue his journey by foot and reached Nungwa 5 days later. It is said that months later the traveller returned from Nungwa and asked to see the woman that knew how to predict the time he had spent between Matikoli and Nungwa. The woman simply repeated the proverb of the area. A fruit does not need to be picked from the tree. It is impatience that finds a good taste in a non-ripe fruit. I'll read that again. A fruit does not need to be picked from the tree. It is impatience that finds a good taste in a non-ripe fruit. Our impatience never finishes complicating things for us. There are a lot of examples that shout very loudly the taste of the modern human hiding from the living reality of the world and drowning himself in the thirst of strong sensations and emotions. It is without a doubt why the situations of war and competition became our greatest attractions. Patience is a golden path. It is said that the day the prophet Amenhotep was confronted by a man who came for his initiations to the African mysteries in the school of Thebes, the priest took 5 years just to teach him 54th commandment of the book of the divine ordinance. This commandment says that impatience is a sin. For 5 years, the man did not stop repeating to the priest, "Yes, I understand. Let's now pass to the following commandments." But the priest always told him that he was not ready yet. The day Amenhotep, the first prophet, decided to come and talk to the students of initiation, the man was in front of the group of students waiting for the opportunity to ask this question. When the chance presented itself, he said, Venerable Prophet, can you tell me why? Can you tell me why my teachers insist on the importance of the 54th commandment? The Prophet, pretending he did not hear, but showed his interest to what the student was saying by saying, "You were saying?" The student repeated his question with a louder voice, thinking that maybe the Prophet did not hear him. But after he finished his question, the Prophet followed with another, "You were saying?" The student, frustrated, shouted with all his strength, "I'm asking why impatience is a sin." The Prophet followed with another, "You are saying?" The student, now clearly angry and thinking that the Prophet was making fun of him, took all his courage and his last patience and said, "The 54th commandment, can you explain it to us?" But the Prophet followed with another, "You were saying?" "Nothing," answered the student. "Forget what I asked." The frustration and anger were clearly visible. The atmosphere in the temple was charged with electricity. Finally, the Prophet said, "This is why impatience is a sin. Avoid being impatient while you are asking a question. If you don't want to experience anger over listening when it will be time to listen. Existence is the becoming of the existence. Existence is the result of the becoming of existence. But the becoming becomes on the sacred rhythm of the transformation of the universe. Impatience is opposition that we bring to the rhythm of the becoming of the world. Patience without resentment results in good steering. Thank you for that. As we know, impatience is definitely one of the commandments that we need to master.
Thou shalt not be impatient. Do sense. So, we are almost at the end of our show. And just to, give it to you again, the proverb of the week. Sen nechipsa.
Yes, once again, Ujai, the proverb for the week is the sun never sets, it's the man who moves away from the light. And I hope that you all can kind of say, look at that proverb and see that really the sun is always there, and so it's you who's always moving, so it depends which direction you want to go in as to say where you're going to end up. So it's a very interesting proverb. It is a thought-provoking one to think about.
So, if you're looking for your culture, if you're looking for a way back to what we had before colonialism, before slavery, before, whatever we're doing now, in our 9-to-5s, there is another path. And that has been brought by the Earth Centre. It's been brought by the prophet of the traditions, Nebnaba Lumusomoro Denebig. This is the Earth Centre, the Wisdom of the Nile Show. I'm Sanun Nesebik.
And I'm Hibsa Nesebik, and we would like to thank Bless Radio for giving us the opportunity to present ourselves and to present the Herb Centre, so that we can reach out to all those who, as ourselves, we were searching on a path, really trying to find our destiny of who we are and where we belong and the part we're supposed to play in this becoming on the earth. So the Herb Centre is there, and it provides that knowledge of awareness of self. And if anyone's interested, then we can again read at the address where you can make contact with the Herb Center, and our phone number is 0207 175 4144, and you can email us on mtamuk at theherfcenter, spelled center.com, and you can contact us on Facebook, the Herb Center UK, and on Twitter, Kepta UK, and on Instagram at the Herb Center of UK, and on the www site it's theearthcenter.org. And we would like to give thanks for all the initiates who played a part in tonight's show. And
So thank you to Chimise, to Claudette, to Hekipta, to One Love,
Well,
and to Wahipta for calling in. So that is us for tonight. See you next week. Iri Huru.
den ankamani do ajabi ani kanota koni den ankamani do ajabi bakare kondo balida sira ini jonkaka e koni ni jonga